Fox 44 News.
At this place in history, we're on Route 7 in North Ferrisburg with Steve Perkins, the executive director of the Vermont Historical Society. Steve, I understand something seasonally appropriate is what brings us here today.
Absolutely, Mike. You know, we've just celebrated some Thanksgiving, and I was eating some turkey and thinking about what are we going to talk about at this place in history. And Vermont has this really interesting connection to turkeys. All right, so this is from a publication from the North Ferrisburg, or from the Ferrisburg Historical Society.
Okay.
Ted Kimball of North Ferrisburg recalls the old-timers saying that years ago, before the advent of moto freight, farm animals such as turkeys were driven to market. Martin's Hotel on Route 7 in North Ferrisburg was a favorite watering hole for drivers and their varmints alike.
And I take it then, Steve, based on where we are right now, that this former motel behind us sits on the same parcel that Martin's Hotel once would have been on?
Yeah, the Martin House, not what we see there, was right on that corner. And it wasn't just here in North Ferrisburg. It really was from all over the state, and even turkeys being driven down from Quebec. So no refrigeration. So how do you get your meat to a city table? In the early 19th century, really 1820s, 1830s, 1840s, Vermont farmers would raise, say, maybe 50, 100 birds, and they would start driving them south down the roads to Boston. I mean, we're talking 300-mile walk. Early 19th century, we didn't really have this regular holiday of Thanksgiving, so turkey almost found its way to those tables for the Christmas holidays.
Right, not until Lincoln's presidency, yeah.
It was cold, the ground was hard, and this was hard on the birds. And now you're making a bird walk 300 miles. You don't want it to lose its weight. So the birds would forage along the way. They'd also have wagons with corn. They'd feed them every night so they would keep their weight up. Some farmers even dipped the feet of the birds in tar, so it would give them almost little shoes so that their feet wouldn't hurt. So the birds they had were much closer to wild turkeys. They were bigger, and they were able to fly a little bit. And so when they stopped for the night, they would fly up into trees or onto the roofs of houses and barns. And there's even stories of so many of them roosting that they broke the roofs of schoolhouses and things like that because there were so many birds. I mean, they weighed 25 pounds apiece. Usually the drivers lived rough. They would find an area with trees so the birds could go up into the branches, and then they'd camp. They'd stay on their wagons or live outside. Often during these drives, and even on the farms, they would attach bells to some of the turkeys so you know where they were, maybe keep predators away. We have one. So I was so excited to find this. This is a turkey bell.
Nice.
This is a little later. This is a 20th century turkey bell.
Okay.
But this was used on a farm in Vermont. Come visit us at the Vermont Historical Society, especially our library. We have a lot of resources, and we've got some good articles, and we actually have a wonderful book. It's a fiction book, and it was published for young adults in the 1950s, but it's a fictionalized account of a Vermont to Boston turkey drive.
A Vermont equivalent of an Old West cattle drive at this place in history.
This is Fox 44 Morning Brew.